Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Ajay and today we are going to take the question that is related to SQL, and the question is question number 4, G, and we are going to take H, G and H. Both the questions are related to SQL. So let us start. So first we will do the H1, that is we will be writing the queries as what they have asked for, and then we will give the output. So let us go for this one. Now this is the table that they have provided, and we are supposed to write the queries for these 4 questions. Now this table I have typed and created a database, and the table that is student, and you can see that's the exact data in front of you. Again I will show it to you. This is the data over here. The date is in day, month and year, but in MySQL it is stored as year, month and date. So that's the format that MySQL stores the data. So overall this is the exact data that has been stored in the table that is the student table, and that's the data. So let us start writing the queries. The first is I will just take one new SQL file, and then we will write the data over here, the queries I mean to say. So the first question is that we have to display the records from the table student in alphabetical order as per the name of the student. So this is a very simple query. So let us start writing, that is select star, that is, now they have not asked any particular field as such, so we are going to display all the fields. So it goes like select star, we will select all the fields from, and the name of the table is student, and then we will simply use the order by clause by name. That's the name, that is the name of the field. As you can see over here, that's the name of the field, that is name, and that's the query, and a semicolon. So if I run this particular query, you can see the answer in front of you. So by default you can see the roll number is 6, but now it has been arranged in the alphabetical order, that is by name, and so you can see M, N, then S and then T. So this is the answer for the first query. Now let's go for the second query, that is to display class. Now over here they have asked for a particular field, that is class, then date of birth, city from marks, sorry, city whose marks is between 450 and 551. So we are supposed to use the between clause over here. So class, date of birth and city. Let us type it, that is select that is class, then date of birth and city. So these are the 3 fields that they have asked from the table, that is student table, and then we will use a where clause, where, that is marks between, and the number that they have specified is, that is 450 and 551, 450, and then again a clause, that is and 551 and a semicolon. So now if you run this particular query, this is the output, and that's the perfect output, that is the class, date of birth and city, and that's the only 3 fields that they had asked for, and all these fields, or sorry, the records are between 450 and 551 marks. So if you want, we can cross check also this. No, not an issue, but that's the perfect answer that we have got. So that's the second query. And then comes the third query. Now the third query says to display the name, class, and then total number of students who have secured more than 450 marks, and that too class wise. Now over here, since this is a sample question paper of 2019-20, so maybe this is a sample question paper, and so there is a problem in this particular question. They are asking for name, class, and then the total number of students. So how is it possible that in one particular record we can have the name, the class, and then the total number of students? Even if we have such a record, we can come up with such a record, but then it makes no sense. The question should be like to display the class and the total number of students who have secured 450 marks in that particular class. So this makes a lot of sense, like if we have the class and the number of students who have secured more than 450. If we add name to it, so basically it is going to only show the first record that is been filtered. Now since there was an issue with this particular question, so I had to refer the solution set that has been provided along with this by the CBSE. So I just went to that solution set and I saw what exactly they have given. So this is the answer that they have given, that is select name comma class, and then there is a count function from student, and then they have done a group by on class having marks that is greater than 450. Now if you read this particular query, everything looks good, but if you copy this, I will show you this query practically cannot work, and I will show you that. Let me just delete all this and let us have that query. That is okay, let me have that one also. So the third one I will type it over here, and okay. So now if I just select this query and run this particular query, and you can see that there is no output, absolutely no output. And you can see at the end over here, it is showing that there is an error in the query, and the error code is 1054 unknown column marks. Now why it is doing so is because this particular query uses a function and a group by. So when we use a group by and a function, so basically it has been said that when we use a group by, we are supposed to use the having clause and not the where clause. Now understand that where clause basically works on every record of the table, whereas the having clause basically only works on that particular group, or a particular group you can say. So that's the difference between where and having. So when we do the grouping, on that grouping we are applying some filtration, and for that we use the having clause. Now since this is not working, and the reason is because when we apply some filtration, we are supposed to use that aggregate function in that filtration, and we are supposed to apply some condition like count greater than 450 or something of that sort, but this is not doing it, and this is saying that marks greater than 450. So we don't have this output. Now if I remove the name from here, and now if I try to run this particular query, we still have an error over here. So the solution for this will be that select class comma count, and then we will filter the marks using the where clause. So first we will do the filtering, that is select class comma count where marks are greater than 450, and then we will apply the group by. So group by, and then I say class. Now let us try to run this particular query and see if we get the output or not. Just will be the spaces. Okay, there is an error in this, that is group by having error in SQL check manual corresponding MySQL server. So from, I just forgot the table. So that's the student table, and now if you run this particular query, you can see we have a perfect output. That is class 10, we have two students who have scored more than 450. Now to cross check, let us just see the table, and in the table you can see for class 10 we have the student, that is Nanda, who has scored 551, so that is more than 450. And then this is also from class 10, but this is 377, and there is one more third, that is 489. So these two queries, these two records are the one who are satisfying that particular condition. And so you can see that we have, the answer is, from class 10 we have two students who have scored more than 450, and from class 12 we have only one. So even we will check that. So for class 12 you can see these are the three queries. So that is class 12, that is 450. Okay, so this is the first one. Let me just check the answer. That is 1. Okay, so that is 462, and that's the right answer. And for Trishla it is exactly 450. That's the reason it is not taken that. I just got a bit confused, but it's giving us the perfect answer because this is exact 450 and we are actually looking for above 450. That's the reason it is only showing one count. And then there is one more class, that is class that is 11, and you can see that is 400 marks, so it is not going to show. One more is that is 250, so it is not going to show any result for class 11. So that's the perfect output that we got from this particular query. Now let us move forward. That is the question, that is the fourth one, that is to increase marks of all students by 20 whose class is 12. So all the students who belong to the class 12, we are supposed to increase the marks by 20. So we are supposed to edit the records, and for editing the record we are supposed to use, that is the update clause. So I will use update. I'm typing this in capital just so to understand that, okay, all that I have typed in capital is actually clauses. So I'm doing that. So update, and then we will update the table, that is student. Then we will use the set clause, and then the field, that is marks, is equal to marks plus 20. But this we are supposed to do only to those records where the class is equal to 12 and a semicolon. That's it. So you can see the records, that is for class 12 it is 462, 369 and 450. So it should get increased by 20. So let us just see that, and let me just select this and run this. So it has not given us the output. To see the output we have to go over here and run this query, and then we will see that effect. And this is the output. And now for class 12 you can see that is 462, it has now changed to 482. This is 450, so it is now 470 and 389. So that's the perfect output. So we have run all the queries successfully over here. So these are the, okay, so these are the queries. Now let us move to the next question. That was, the question is the G part, and we have to give the output. Now this is very simple. Now you can see select count comma city from student, group by city having count greater than 1. Now you can see this is the same thing that I was talking for this third query, that when we use a group by and there is an aggregate function, so we are supposed to use that function in that filtration, and that's the same thing that they have done over here. So this is the right query. Now let us try to guess the output. The output of this particular query should be that we are count comma city. So this is a function from student group by city, so it is going to get group by the city. So all the Delhi, Agra is only one, so this will be one. Delhi will come together, Mumbai there are two, it will come together because we are doing grouping, and Dubai is single and these are two. So all these cities will be grouped together, all the records will be grouped together, and then we are going to have the count greater than 1. So all those records who have the city, that is the count is more than 1, so that's Mumbai, because you can see Mumbai over here and over here, and Delhi is 2, and Moscow. So let us just, I'll just simply copy this and paste it, and then we can see the output. So let me just paste it over here, and let me just run this query, and you can see the output. Mumbai we have 2 records, Delhi 2 records, and Moscow 2 records. And this is how you're supposed to exactly write in your answer sheet. That is count star, that's the first field, because that was the first, that is the function that they have given. So we have that as first, then the city field, and then the counts. So that's the answer. Then next is that we have to select max and min from student, that is their date of birth. So how does this work? Like, this is going to give the latest date max, and min is going to give the oldest date. So simple. So we'll just run this and we can guess the output, that is this one. That's the max and min. Now you can see max, that's the latest date, and min is the oldest date. That's 1993 and that's 1995, and then you also have to look for the month and the date. So if you look at the records, so you have to properly go through the records and you have to identify which is the latest date over here, including the year, month and date, and then the oldest date, that was 1993, because since there's only one record 1993 and all other are more than that, so this is the oldest date anyway. But 1995, you can see there are 3, in fact there are more, so you have to properly go through the month and the date and then identify which is the latest date. So that's the answer. And then we have one more, that is select name gender from city where from student where city is equal to Delhi. This is a very simple question, that is the name and the gender where city is Delhi. So there are only 2 records, these are the 2 records, and it is going to display this, that is Sanal, that is and the gender is F, and second is Delhi is store. So let us just see the output. I'll just copy this and paste it over here, and you can see the output of this is in front of you. That is, if it is not displayed the output, in fact there is some kind of error. Okay, let me just check, where city is equal to, double quotes are not allowed, that's the single quotes. And then if you run this, we have the output, that is Sanal and store. So that's the output, and we have solved the sample question paper, that is the SQL part of the question paper. I hope you have understood this tutorial, and if you think you have achieved something out of my tutorial, do subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.